What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. Welcome back to Week 2 of the NFL season. And the Carolina Panthers in this game faced the Houston Texans. This is the home opener. They won last week, so Carolina came into this game 1-0. And Houston came into the game 0-1. Like always do the team that's not the Panthers first. Quarterback, of course, Ryan Mallett got the start over Brian Hoyer. He was 27 of 58 and 31 incompletions, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and I believe he had a rushing touchdown. Yeah, he did. Looking at this, 31 incompletions. There were some drops. There were some missed throws. Nate Washington had a few drops. I think if these guys would have caught the ball a little bit more, stat numbers would be better. But they threw the ball 58 times. I just don't think they had the weapons to do that. Hopkins, I thought the Panthers secondary did a really good job against him. He didn't have the game he had against Kansas City, so I like what I saw from of course Carolina secondary, but throwing 58 times, I don't know about that. But the numbers I'm about to list off now is probably the reason why they threw 58 times. Rushing, Chris Polk, 14 carries, 38 yards. Then he was the leading carrier in the team. Jonathan Grimes, 2 carries, 7. Ryan Mallett, the 1 carry for 6 yards and a touchdown. And Alfred Blue, 5 carries for 6 yards. So they weren't really able to move the ball. They had a total of 23 carries for 61 yards. So they ran it enough, but just wasn't able to get much out of it. 2.7 yards per carry, yards per rush. That's not gonna cut it. From the receiving standpoint, Nate Washington, 3 receptions, 63 yards. He had the longer 48. He had some drops. Yeah, he was targeted 8 times. DeAndre Hopkins, I thought the defense, the secondary did a good job against him. There was one drive, I believe he had at least 2 or 3 of his catches in that drive. So if you look at the entirety of the game, he really didn't do a lot. He had 5 receptions, 53 yards. He was targeted 11 times. Jonathan Grimes, 6 receptions, 40. Cecil Shorts, 6 receptions for 34. CJ Fedorowicz, 1 reception for 19. Chandler Worthy, 2 receptions for 15. Chris Polk, 2 receptions for 9. And Garrett Graham, 1 reception for 7. But he had the lone receiving touchdown. Defensively, Quentin Demps, I thought he played well. He had 8 tackles, a half a sack. He also had a QB hit. Brian Cushing made some plays. 7 tackles, 1 pass defense. J.J. Watt looked pretty good. Yeah, he was getting double teamed. Like most teams are gonna do. He's gonna get double teamed. Both him and Clowney were being double teamed. At some point, either by a running back or a tight end, or a lot of the plays they chipped, and J.J. Watt was still able to get pressure. He had 2 QB hits, 2 pass defenses, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 sack. So, I thought he had a better game against the Chiefs, but he still made an impact in this game. Kareem Jackson, thought Houston, they had some boneheaded penalties. I think both teams had boneheaded penalties that really kept some drives going. But Houston secondary played, I would say, okay. I thought it was mainly Carolina's receivers. Really the only person that was getting separation was Ted Ginn. Greg Olsen, of course, got some separation, but outside of that, most of the guys weren't getting separation consistently, and that's the issue with the Carolina Panthers. So they're a little bit easier to defend, and thought Houston did an okay job. Onto the Panthers side, Cam Newton, 18 for 37, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think this game was better for him in terms of it says still he's under he had an issue with most of his career with overthrowing guys. In this game, he underthrew guys, or he led them too far, out of their reach. It it just happens with him sometimes. Sometimes he'll have a really accurate throw, then the next throw will be like, guy will be open, but he'll just completely miss the throw. Then again, throws have to be incredibly accurate because most teams, seeing with this receiving core, are gonna play up. It's gonna be it's gonna be press coverage. He's gonna have to make tight throws and tight throws and small windows. So with some of his accuracy concerns or consistency with his accuracy, that's definitely a problem. There were some drops though. Ted Ginn, I remember, had a few drops, and Ted Ginn here in Carolina has been targeted more as a receiver than he ever has, in Arizona or in San Francisco. So, you kind of expect him to drop a few of those. He's not used to being a receiver throughout most of his career, but you got to catch some of them, because he is the one guy looking on this roster outside of really Greg Olsen, who's getting separation. He's just not completing. He's just not catching every pass. Now, the guy's not gonna catch every pass, but some of those, you got to help your quarterback out. But I thought the receivers did a better job. Not great, but they did a better job than the first game at actually catching the passes. Another thing they did a better job at was rushing, mainly from Cam. Cam Newton, 10 carries for 76 yards, 1 touchdown. He was really good in terms of rushing. A lot of them were broken plays. Guys were covered down the field, so he had to make something happen with his legs, and he did. So this was what you kind of expect from the rushing game. It's gonna be Cam, and it's gonna be Cam Newton. It's gonna be Jonathan Stewart. It's gonna be Tolbert, Fozzie Whitaker. They're gonna use these guys, to run the ball, and this kind of what it requires, because the offensive line to me doesn't protect well enough for you to line up in the I formation, hand the ball out to Jonathan Stewart or Tolbert, because they just don't open up many holes. So it has to be from the deception of, okay, read option. Is Cam gonna run it, or whoever the running back in is? Is the deception with that, and I think that's mainly what they're gonna go with. I mean, you're gonna see Cam Newton run it a lot more, especially seeing coming out to this game. Jonathan Stewart, 17 carries, 62 yards, played better, 3.6 yards per carry. It's better than the first game. Mike Tolbert, 5 carries for 31. He's he had only 5 carries, so really not a huge sample size. Fozzie Whitaker, 1 carry for 3. Cam Newton also had the lone rushing touchdown where he did the front flip into the end zone. Definitely, it's gonna be a highlight play. If they do a top 10, ESPN, whatever. It's gonna be up there. Receiving, Greg Olsen, 6 receptions, 70 yards. Corey Brown, 3 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr., 4 receptions, 41, and a touchdown. Devin Funchess, 1 reception, 15. Jericho Cotchery, 1 reception, 11. Mike Tolbert, 2 receptions for 4, and I think that's it. He targeted Greg Olsen 14 times. He only had 6 receptions. A lot of times, it was good defense. Some Cam overthrew him. I'll say for the most part, the ones that Greg Olsen was able to get his hands on, he caught. So I thought definitely he had 1 reception in the last game. You could see him go on more routes. He was targeted 14 times, so Cam was throwing the ball, and I think this is how it should be. He's still their best offensive weapon from a receiving standpoint. Defensively, of course, no Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis made a lot of, they dropped him in coverage a lot. He didn't blitz a whole lot. For the most part, Carolina didn't blitz that much. It was mainly a 4-man front. Still no Starlo Lele. Connie Ely came. He was the starting opposite of Charles Johnson. Thomas Davis though, 9 tackles, 1 pass defense. I thought he was when he tackled a guy, he didn't miss too many tackles. Guys were going to the ground. He was completing his tackles. Kurt Coleman, 9 tackles. He played solid. Roman Harper. I think Roman Harper. I think the corners mainly played good. They got beat on a few plays, but I think for the most part the corners played pretty good. Benet Benwickery, he should have had a pick. Went right through his hands. Should have had a pick, probably for a 6. Josh Norman, I think in the secondary was probably the best player, and the stats really don't say it, but he got the assignment of Hopkins for most of the game, and I think he was able to do a pretty good job against them. Shaq Thompson, the rookie, really high on him, speed guy. He started to get less snaps as the game went on, but I like what I saw from him when he was out there. AJ Klein had the interception. He was in place for Luke Kuechly. Like what I see from him, I think our linebacking core is underrated. A lot of people look at Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis. I think AJ Klein, Shaq Thompson, the rookie coming in. I think the linebacking core is pretty good. Dwan Edwards, I didn't like what I saw from the front four, mainly from getting to the quarterback. I thought mainly the front 7, they shut down the run game, and they shut down Houston's run game, but it was just they couldn't really get pressure. And it is kind of discerning seeing it, because there were times where Mallett was just holding the ball. Got the corners for Carolina were doing a good job. It's just guys just couldn't get to him. They couldn't get to him. Charles Johnson, not the player he used to be, he really couldn't get to him. You saw Mario Addison in there at times, but he didn't get any pressure. But like I said, he's in limited snaps. I think he should get more playing time, especially with Connie Ely almost cost the game. Well, not necessarily the game, but he almost allowed them to pretty much tie the game up. 2 boneheaded penalties near the end of the game, and to me, he didn't make enough plays. He ended up getting benched at the end, but I think I did have to throw some blitzing in there, blitz some of those linebackers, or find some different personnel that can get some. Once we get started off the Lele, he was a decent pass. He was a good pass rusher in the interior defensive lineman. We'll have to find out the guy opposite of Charles Johnson. We'll have to, is it going to be Connie Ely? Well, if it is, he's going to have to play better. Or if it's Mario Addison, you got to get the guy more snaps. Now, I understand they want to save him for more passing downs. They want him fresh, because he's that speed edge rusher. But the other guy's not doing much, so you got to get a guy that's actually making plays out there. He had 2 sacks in the first game, was able to get pressure in limited snaps. So I'd like to see more of him. I say the same damn thing every week, but team stats. Let me see. Third down efficiency, Houston 5 of 19, Carolina 4 of 13. Both were bad, but Carolina, of course, was better. Fourth down efficiency, Houston, near the end of the game, they had to go for 4. They went for 4th down. They were to complete 2 of them. That was pretty good. Of course, they had some penalties to help them out. Let me see. Both teams had a turnover. Let me see. Penalties were bad. Carolina had 10 penalties for 92 yards, and Houston had 10 penalties for 70 yards. And a lot of these penalties kept drives going and allowed that specific team to score. Most of them were defensive penalties. Turnovers. Well, I already said both teams had 1 turnover. Carolina scored off that turnover. Not directly the turnover, but they scored on the next offensive play. Time possession. Carolina won time possession 32 minutes 29 seconds to 27 minutes 31 seconds. So not a huge disparity as it was week 1, but it was definitely a win for that. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Panther fans, Sorry I'm a bit late. It's about 10:50 Eastern Standard Time. But I got, of course, earlier today I rewatched the game, the whole Game Pass thing. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.